I mean, it's a super exciting time for the industry in general. AI isn't a new thing. I think if we look at MiQ as a company, we've had a lot of incredible learnings over our 15 years of trading, and we're able to bring that into our Sigma platform and be able to accelerate brands and agencies reaching their audiences to scale in a program in a way that's platform agnostic, which I think is transformative to the industry. You know, so many things are happening in silos, and this is a way to unify to bring it together.
From, I guess, Vinny, from your perspective, what are real world AI use cases that are impacting your business?
So we've done this in a few different ways. One of the big ones was using custom algorithms, which I know you're very familiar with. But
custom algorithms.
What we really did behind that was fuel it with 6 different data sets into one buy. And it was basically fueled by out of stock, shelf data, sales data by zip code. And what we're able to do is create bid factors by every single impression by market. By doing that, it was, during our Halloween time period where we know if we won the season before it even started because everyone bought our product, but we have to move it off shelf before November 1st, which is markdown day. And the goal was any underperforming market of that national average, feed it on a daily basis, all the zip codes, and make sure we're just top of mind constantly during that period. So we've done this almost every year now seasonally, which is a big lift. And it's been a huge, lift in our percentage. About 300 basis points almost every season is correlated to doing this. And then we're really hyper-focused right now on generative AI from a content perspective. We've got 19,000 assets that need to reach every digital shelf for every single retailer. And to do that is really challenging. You should be doing it by computers. We're doing it by not computers and a lot of people. It's very inefficient. So that's a huge area that we're focused on right now is bringing content to scale so that we can limit those and really build the Super 6, which is all of the PDP assets, kind of harmonized for every digital shelf out there.
Q unwind that. I'm not familiar with Super 6, what that is.
So it's just taking your product shots, your product listing pages, your product development pages, and there's 6 main assets that go into every single, both on-site and mobile optimized that you need to have to show up organically. So if you search chocolate and you don't have a good content ecosystem, all of my competitors show up.
Right. So we're talking resizing, moving logos around, making it looks right.
Yep.
We're not creating new campaigns.
No. We're not using.
We're within current guidelines.
You still need human emotion to build campaigns, but you can bring some of those things to scale.
Right. And Steve, what are you seeing? Because you see more customers in an agency world.
Yeah. From an agency perspective, obviously there's, not all our clients are as sophisticated, right? They're all at different levels of sophistication. So we have clients that are still obviously doing things the traditional way, and we have clients that are really leaning into AI. And they're leaning into it from an insights and research perspective. They're actually helping us build the briefing, the planning brief docs through their own AI-based research tools. So we're getting, where it used to take, sometimes weeks to get up to the point where we were able to build a media brief, they're giving you all the data points you need within days, right? So then at IPG, we have our own AI-based product. We call it Interact. Interact now takes in the input and the prompt from the brief from our clients if it was built AI generated. And now we're able to then, through our Interact product, be able to do our own sense of looking at historical performance, looking at different audiences. We marry together all the different prompts from a planner. So we have what we call now AI strategists, not planners. And the AI strategists actually prompt. They put the prompts in to help drive what the plan should be. And they're spitting out, what becomes the first round of a plan that would have taken weeks in the past to get all that data together, so that, to Vinny's other point, the human emotion part of it, because we still want to have planners who are people who are looking at these things, understanding their clients' concerns and considerations, and now, making the next sets of revisions to those plans. So we're at different stages of all this, but if you're talking about our clients that are most sophisticated, we're going from an AI set of research and data points from them into AI prompts into Interact, which is now spitting out the first level of a plan. And it's creating that, that first sort of area for us to react to within days, not weeks.
Yeah, it's super interesting. So what's the skill set of that person you said who's an AI strategist? What kind of background? Is that an old media planner? Is it just an upskill?
It's a media planner, and even a little bit of a mix of an old time strategist mixed into that, who has been now trained and upskilled to understanding the right language to speak to AI tools, because it is a capability in and of itself to speak to AI tools correctly. You get out of it only how you prompt it.
Right.
And you need somebody who understands the prompting mechanisms.
Yeah. Is it, I spoke to another agency person about something similar, and they said that even the process you just outlined needs to be approved by the client. That the clients need to be okay with you using AI, even if the output is going to be approved by them in the end.
So now, just to get into a little inside baseball, and Vinny obviously knows this, if you're going to have a mechanism that's going to be based on this type of process that goes from AI client-side tools to agency AI tools, it's impacted your fee. Right. It's already been part of the discussion because
the fee went up, right?
Well, yeah. No, the fee did not go up.
Okay.
Right. So you've already right. You've already had a conversation of this type of process and what that means in terms of staffing levels, because you're not staffing the way you would normally staff, and then there is a fee value back to the clients for being able to use this process. So you do have to be bought in on both sides. And in some cases, there are clients that don't want to have anything to do with it. They're not working that way, and that's fine too. And then we'll say, hey, for us to meet your budgetary needs, we're going to work this way on our side. Obviously, you still get to approve everything, but we're going to work this way on our side to help keep our fee costs down. So
one of the big things on that is the legal teams involved.
Yeah.
They need to be replaced by AI.
So our contract process took the longest because of the AI language.
Oh yeah. Like what? What did the lawyers want? Like liability?
It's all liability.
Okay.
But nobody understands the power. So everyone's just trying to get their last word. And it took us 6 months to just figure out the AI part of our contract.
Right.
But everything else was good.
All right.
So it's a different level of we can give you the opportunity to do it, but we have to have legally or liability passed on.
Yeah. I was just going to say on top of it, I really feel like the whole entire industry is going through an education right now.
Yep.
Every part of everyone's business, at the client, at the agency, you're trying to train and educate people through this entire new ecosystem of them being able to move things forward. And I feel like that is perhaps what Martin was talking about. It's the now. There's so much education that needs to happen, and how are we going to move everybody through that so that they can take full advantage of what the technology has to offer?
Yeah, and MiQ is also sort of a channel partner in a sense. You're selling to other companies that are doing things. So when you rolled out this new product Sigma, did you have to sell it in, or is it just sort of obvious now we're using AI?
Well, I think really what's happened is you're on a journey, right? You're meeting the customer where they are at this moment in time. So there is a constant sell-in or an education that needs to be happening. I also think as they start to understand the technology, it becomes so much more intuitive for them to be able to take advantage of it. So I think we're all on the journey together, and some clients are further along than others.
Yeah. We spoke about cost savings, or obliquely about cost savings. And one of the arguments that is a real optimistic argument about AI is that, yes, there'll be maybe fewer people doing some of the work, but there'll be more work because there's more capabilities. Have anyone want to talk to how AI has expanded what you're actually doing?
I can talk about one thing that we're doing that I think is not really talked about enough is how do we use it for data harmonization? So what I mean by that is, we always talk about, everyone loves a media mix model, at least in the CPG world. And that drives every part of our business that everyone wants to see an ROI on. But to do it faster, you need cleaner data. And what nobody's talking about is how do you use AI to structure and harmonize that data faster to feed into the systems? We've been in a lot of conversations with some companies right now of how do you do this? We've got a universal taxonomy we built over the last 7 months that goes all the way through to our accounting team so that it's finance driven, media led, but then every single part of our creative content and media setups all speak the same language. The only way to do AI, to me, to do the things we all want to go do, if you don't structure your data, you're never going to be able to do it.
Right. And just last week, Facebook announced it was basically buying 49% of Scale AI, and I had no idea what Scale AI did, and I found out it's really just Mechanical Turk on steroids, where they basically have 100,000 people just typing stuff so that the AI gets smarter, which is a little dystopian. But I don't know why I brought that up. Oh yeah. So what, Vinny? I guess you started your answer by saying AI helps to normalize, but then it sounded like you ended your answer by saying you have to normalize to let the AI do anything. So
there's a data cleansing process of the tool that we're using.
Right.
But if you don't build the taxonomy, tell it what it should be, what it should look like. So you do have to do the work.
Right.
And then you can use a system capability to move it from system to system faster. That's where we're seeing the scale deficiency, but you still need the people to do it.
Right. Steve, you were sort of nodding your head yes when I was talking about new capabilities. What other examples have you seen?
Yeah, because Vinny touched right on it. What I was going to say is the way we got adoption in our agency was we took away MMMs from having to be done by planners, because planners don't love to have to sit there and do media mix modeling. Now the AI is doing all that for them. So that became like, they saw this as, oh, wow, I don't have to pour into the data. Well, this is going to help me do the processing and I could start to just, react to the results. So we took away some of the things that were, I wouldn't say it's painful. I mean, we're all been in the business, so we do it, but the stuff that just becomes the less fun stuff, the AI is now, or the tools Interact is automatically doing that for our planners. So now they've leaned in. Now they're sitting there saying like, wow, this is great. I can use this to help me in my job. So they became fans of it. They became users of it. They're getting a better product out. And it became less a feeling of them. It's like, oh, this is here to replace me, or this is, I'm doing less work. No, now this is something that's helping them.
And by lowering the cost, you increase the capacity so that instead of it being a big deal to do an MMM model, maybe you could do it, update it more often or have different cuts.
Liz, I've been in the agency business a long time. There's always hundreds of open roles. There's always hundreds of open roles. So now we don't have hundreds of open roles. I mean, the fact is you're knocking out more work with the people you have because you're using platforms to help you do that.
Right. And are the platforms you're using bespoke for your agency? Is it like a tool that your IT department's built that then you're using?
Yeah, it's a combination of both. So our IT, not IT department, but our software development team.
IT is old-fashioned,
right?
Way of saying it. Sorry.
They built a product on top of a Microsoft and IBM infrastructure. So they used Microsoft for one part of it. I don't want to get into the details of it, but they used Microsoft for one part, IBM for another part, and then they built the connective tissue on top of it to be the user interface.
All right, interesting. What about in general helping? How is AI helping systems work better together? Because that's one of the difficulties of the advertising business, that you have disparate systems.
I mean, I think what it is it's exactly what Steve said, which is the connective tissue. It's really being able to take all these disparate sets and bring them together with one common outcome, audiences across, being able to take advantage of that. And I think the technology is only going to continue to scale as it gets smarter, as the prompts are happening and as the human interaction with the actual platforms are happening.
Yeah, we've used it to that point. We built APIs into a lot of the wall gardens, right? So we have all the data coming in from the wall gardens. It's funneling into Interact, and Interact is creating one data source out of those APIs with those different wall gardens that we had to treat separately. Now it's creating some unity against the wall garden environment that you would normally have to do multiple looks. It's creating some sense of a story.
Right. So what does it feel like for someone comes in the morning with their coffee and, what do? Do they just prompt and say, hey, how's our media going?
I mean, maybe, listen, maybe down the road, it'll adapt more to that. Yeah. Right. But right now they log in. So it's a login. Yeah. They're logging in, they log into their home screen. Their home screen has the clients and the plans and the open projects that they're working on. And as they click through, they navigate through different parts. It's not, this is not Jarvis, right? At least not at this point, not the way we built it yet. But it's obviously it's helping lead you through the process.
Yeah, it seems to me like, unlike some other waves of technology, AI gives results so quickly. The feedback loop is like, oh wow, I didn't know I could do that. That it could get momentum very quickly. Yep. All right. Well, thank you all. This has been an amazing panel. Let's give a hand to the panel.